anybody who's had a cat knows that they look like they're looking at stuff that's not there all the time.
Yeah, they know when you're high. When you smoke and you look at your cat, they're like, "What's up?" They stare into your soul. They know. They're like, "I know."
Yeah.
They're like, "I'm with you. Now you're at my level, bitch." Yeah.
Welcome to the Acid for Squares podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Dahl.
And I'm Cody Blue. And if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, rate. It helps us out a lot. We'd appreciate it. And on today's episode, we have our friend, Nathan Kehn, a.k.a. Nathan the Cat Lady. Nathan... I say, a.k.a. Pussy Daddy, a.k.a. Cat King.
He in my phone, he's Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Cat Daddy
Not
and Pussy
King.
Oh my gosh. Nathan, we love you, brother. Thank you for coming on. Round of applause, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the nickname, by the way. That's hilarious.
Nathan, okay, I got to tell everyone at home. So Nathan is our literal dear friend, and he helped build this studio with us. He's one of the few people that came and helped. He was literally moving out of his apartment.
And also, he had said he would come and help, but then at the last minute, he had to move out of his place, but he didn't tell us that this had happened. And then he built the wall and was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I have to go move out of my place right now." I was like, we went to Home Depot, you built the wall, and then you're gonna go move. That's
I promised I'd be there. I don't back down when I make a promise.
I know, that was crazy.
And that is exactly why we in the beginning, this is a very paranormal, conscious show. We talk about the supernatural, far out shit. Yeah. And we wanted to have you on, and we were like, well, is he woo enough? What are we gonna be able to talk about? And the more and more people we have in sort of the spiritual world or the consciousness world, the more we become convinced that essentially spirituality, being a good person, is not performative. It comes from being a good human and action and living a life that is extremely ethical, and that's what you do. And what you've done as the Pussy King is for cats around the world is amazing. How did you get to this point in your life where you are helping cats? And how did you get here?
So it's so weird. I started social media strictly because I was an actor, and they were like, you have to have a following now. Like, if you don't have a following, I would go to audition, I'd get put on a veil for a job, and they'd be like, "Oh, we need to see your Instagram." And I was like, why? I posted my breakfast this morning. Like, who cares? You already know I can do the job. I would send them my Instagram, and then I would get released within an hour. And so started building my page, did some videos with the cats that went viral, and then just blew up. A couple of them went viral, and probably within a month, I had hit 16,000 followers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it took off out of nowhere. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to start, So I tried Cat Daddy for one day.
Oh, are you serious?
I did. I did a story, and I was like, someone sent me a hat that said Cat Daddy. I was like, well, you know what, guys? Looks like I'm the new Cat Daddy. My DMs that night, I didn't know how many people needed daddies in America. And it was just like, "Oh, hey, daddy. Oh, daddy. Oh, there's a daddy. Oh, I need a daddy." And I was like, nope, I don't like this. This was not the intention.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a connotation to Cat Daddy. That's it's like a
What's
sugar
daddy.
Cat Daddy?
Yeah.
Actually, that name?
The way I've been explained to it is it's like a sugar daddy, but attractive. Which I'm like, okay, it's not bad.
It has nothing to do with cats?
Nothing to do with cats. No, but there's a Cat Daddy rap song. It's the Cat Daddy, it's ridiculous. But I was just like, yeah, I don't want that many DMs asking. It just got so weird so quick. So anyways, eventually switched to Nathan the Cat Lady because everyone was calling me a crazy cat lady. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to make that stereotype cool. So I started rocking the red bathrobe. Started drinking, the wine, and just any stereotype I could think of, I leaned into it and was like, I'm going to make this funny and cool. And now it's trending. It's I literally had someone reach out and they're like, "Yeah, did you know that Cat Dads is now trending? It's the thing." And I was like, heck yeah, we did it.
That's awesome.
We made cat people cool.
There was such a stereotype around people that had cats, especially, I feel like I remember growing up, and there was a stereotype around men that had cats.
What's that?
You didn't want to date a man if he had cats.
Oh yeah, it used to be like an immediate red flag.
Yeah.
And for women, obviously on Simpsons, they're like a crazy lady in a bathrobe with cats everywhere. And so we've just been progressively trying to make it cool. And now like there's so many cat dads all over social media, and I absolutely love it. But yeah, now I've been trying to flip the stereotype now that if like you hate cats, that there's actually something wrong with you. So I release like fake studies, but like, did you know scientists prove that if you hate cats, there's something wrong with you? Because it's social media. It's what I say is fact. It doesn't matter. So I do all these like fake like PSAs letting people know like, hey, if they hate cats, there's probably something wrong with them. You should avoid that person.
There is something wrong with them.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Cats are sacred.
They're so cool. If they don't like them, they got boundary issues. Avoid that person. But
is that how?
True.
So that's how you got like so it started as a social media thing, and then did it just naturally progress into the place where you are now, where you're building sanctuaries and you're helping save cats all over?
Yeah, it was weird. Like I started doing this, and I was like, there was cat cafes. I was like, I should check out these cat cafes and see if I can like help promote, maybe get some cats adopted, because I had this following. So I went to a cat cafe, met my buddy Sterling. He goes by Sterling the Trap King, and he does all TNR cat rescue, which I didn't even know was a thing. So he taught me all about that. We met at
which TNR is trap and release, in case people don't know what that means.
Yeah, trap, neuter, return. So you take them in, you get them fixed, and then you send them back out so that they stop making kittens everywhere. And so I met him at a cat cafe, Catman bingo night, like you do. A very, very casual thing to do on a Friday. Yeah, like how else do guys make friends? So we became friends. He started teaching me about the rescue stuff, and we went to Florida and trapped, and I trapped for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I love this. So I got into TNR, and then started reaching out to rescues and sanctuaries and be like, hey, like, can I come promote the cats? And then it all kind of came a full circle last year. That was my first year full-time social media. Beagle Freedom reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we're converting a testing lab into a sanctuary. We're going to save 190 beagles, and we're going to save 90 cats. Will you come out for the ribbon cutting? And I was like, yeah, is that all you want from me? And they're like, I mean, we'll take whatever we can get. We just would love to have you there. And I was like, you know what? Let me reach out to my sponsors and see if anybody can help. And they were like, sure, like we need all the help. I was like, what do you need? They're like, everything, food, toys, litter. So I reached out to all the sponsors I'd worked with. I'm like, hey, who can help? Within 2 weeks, I had $150,000 in supplies.
Wow.
So food, toys, litter, leashes, cleaning supplies, like shampoos for dog, like all my brands came through. And then so I went out and started building the cat cafe, which is Nathan's CatLady Lounge now, which is awesome. And I went out there, and they were like, yeah, we're going to build this space. And I was like, oh, cool. Who's building it? And they were like, you?
Were you talking about Milo's?
No, not Milo's. This was in Nowata, Oklahoma. This is Beagle Freedom.
Oh.
Yeah, so this was before Milo's.
Yeah.
So I was like, sweet, like I'll go. Let's do it. So went and bought all new tools, started knocking down walls and building walls, and then, got done what I could. And then a couple weeks later, I met Easy Pet Fence, and they were like, hey, like it was funny. I was at a convention. She runs up. She's like, hey, I love what you do. Just wanted to get a photo. And I was like, great, what do you do? She's like, oh, we make pet fencing, like dog parks and stuff. She's like, I always thought it'd be cool to work with you. I just didn't know how. And I was like, do you want to donate some dog parks to a new animal sanctuary? She goes, sure. Donated 2 full dog parks and a catio. So I got volunteers, went back out, we built dog parks, and it's just kind of progressed from there. And then, Milo's, we built a full sanctuary there, Nathan's CatLady Oasis, and just kind of expanding from there.
Whoa, so it just like organically happened all this.
Yeah. My motto last year, because like as you guys know, like I collapsed in Vegas at a convention because I was working a full-time job. I just had jaw surgery. I was doing the full-time social media. I was like, I'm done. We're going to go full social media. But my motto was, I'm just going to run as fast as I can with my eyes closed and see what happens. And so that's what I've been doing. And that's why, like, with the Beagle Freedom, I just reached out. I was like, hey, who can help? Anyone want to help? And they just donate it. Like, I don't question it. I just start reaching out like, hey, we need help with this. All right, I'm just going to reach out to a bunch of people. And it's been working, and I'm just going with it. So
it has been so cool to watch you create this platform where you can actually create real change like so quickly. Like I watch you just immediately, exactly like what you're talking about, the Beagle Freedom Program, with Milo's, just everything that you do. Yesterday, weren't you like saving 3 cats from a cop car?
Yeah, I was pulling kittens out of an abandoned police cruiser at was it California Highway Patrol building.
Yeah, and then also,
How does that happen? Do you have like a hotline? Is there like a
think there
bat
must be a
signal?
hotline.
That's the thing. Once you put yourself out there as a rescuer, the DMs that I get daily, like someone will be like, "Hey, I'm in Boston. I found a cat. What do I do with it?" I'm like, "You're in Boston. I don't know." Like, but that one I work with a bunch of good organizations. Lux Paws. She's this lady, Jackie. She's amazing. She's built connections with, she builds connections with the homeless, with like everybody. So she's got like the inside scoop on where all the cats are. So somebody reached out to somebody who reached out to her because the police were there like feeding the cats. And they're like, yeah, this mom has had 5 litters and she just had one in our abandoned police cruiser because it was like destroyed. It had been like in a car accident. And she's like, yeah, there's kittens in there. Can someone come get them? And she called me. She's like, I have to work. Can you come get these kittens? I was like, all right, well, canceling all my plans for the day. Let's go rescue kittens out of a police cruiser. And yeah, drove down and went and pulled them out, and then got Mama, who's like got a really badly injured arm, and yeah, you just never know what your day is going to be. It's
I feel
cool.
like
You've become a cat superhero.
It's so crazy. I feel like you do. I don't know if it's just your social media or if you're actually doing like 20 rescues a day. I feel like every time I look, I'm like, okay, Nathan's in another state at a cat convention. Now he's speaking at something. Now he's taking photos over here, and now he's saving this cat, and then he's trapping this other cat, and then there's another cat. Like, it's crazy.
It's true. I mean, I have 30 trips on the books this year. One is a wedding. So
29.
Yeah, 29. One is a wedding. So, but yeah, they're all either pet conventions or rescue trips, or like, we're going to Spain next week to rescue a bunch of dogs. So it's, yeah, I mean, I'm always, my days are insane. I finally started hiring like assistants because I'm like, there's just not enough hours in the day. I can wake up at 6 a.m. and if I still want to like work out and eat food, which apparently you have to do every day.
You do.
Yeah, I heard. So yeah, it's like, I was like, I need help. Like I can't, you get all these emails. I'm like, I have to respond to brands because I think most people think when they're a social media influencer, it's like, oh, so you make one video and then you just get paid. And I'm like, no, that's not it at all. Like I have to negotiate the brand deals. I have QuickBooks. I have to do the invoicing. I have to read the contracts. I have to come up with the skits. I have to edit them. And then you have to go do the rescue. It's just the amount of stuff. And now that I have the merch, like the bathrobes that I sell, it's like I have to have the inventory. I have to go to storage to pick them up when people order. Like there's a lot of stuff that you don't see on social media.
Yeah, and to speak to how like ubiquitous and synonymous you've become with saving cats, we literally get like our neighbor will knock on our door because she knows we're friends with you when there's a cat in the rescue. She's like, can you let Nathan the cat lady know? Like we have like a pregnant cat that's like hiding in the back.
I remember the first time she saw you, she was like, is that Nathan the cat lady that just came over your house? We're like, yeah. She was like, you guys know Nathan?
Oh, that's right. She was excited. That was hilarious.
Yeah, she got you. But she's amazing. She actually helps like all the cats around. Natalie. She does trap and neuter release also, and she's absolutely amazing.
I didn't know that one of the things that got you into this, or one of a motivator for you, is to break stigma around being a cat daddy. And sorry, can never
going.
Hear that.
I don't mind at all.
But I'm sure you know this. In the Middle Ages, the cats became synonymous with the devil. It was something pushed by the church, and they began just killing all of the cats. And it's actually one of the things that caused the bubonic plague because there were no cats to kill the rodents.
Yep.
And
they killed them along with the witches.
You know this? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That stigma, that is one of the things that permeates to this day.
That's why in Halloween, they don't adopt black cats anymore because a lot of people they're either adopting them and then returning them for Halloween, or people were adopting them and then like killing them and torturing them. So black cats, like the month of October, you will not get a black cat.
Whoa, so that's
crazy.
horrifying.
Yeah, no, people are the worst. They're absolutely insane.
That's crazy. So I know your mom is a practicing Christian. Does she get down with you and you and your cat daddy ways? Does she cool with it? There's no stigma there, right?
No, she is so supportive. Like the first cat con I ever went to, I flew my mom out and she came with me and was like, this is so cool. Like, this is my son. Like, she tells me at least once a day, hey, you have a new follower. My hairdresser now follows you because I told her about what you do. I'm like, thanks, Mom. That's awesome. One more for the book.
So
she's a proud mama.
She is very proud. Like, she is very supportive. And like, now I actually fly her out when I do long trips because she'll sit and watch my cats while I'm out of town.
Oh.
Because like, I'm going to Spain for 10 days. I'm not going to leave my cats, so she'll sit with them for 10 days and take care of them.
Did you grow up with cats?
Yeah, we always had 3 cats and 2 dogs. So I grew up with all the animals.
Okay, so right now, because you just mentioned Spain, so can you talk about what you're about to go do in Spain? Because you obviously, you said you grew up with dogs and cats, and the thing that you're about to take on in Spain is pretty horrific, but also pretty amazing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So could you explain?
So we're going out to rescue Galgo dogs, which I didn't know existed until last year. So Galgos, they look kind of like our greyhounds. They're like a cousin of the greyhounds or something. But in Spain, they use them for hunting dogs. Some racing, but mostly like as hunting dogs. But it's tradition every year, instead of keeping them for the following hunting season, they torture and kill them after. Like everything from, they'll hang them. If they were a good hunter, they'll hang them high so it's quick. If they were bad, they do what they call piano keying, where their feet dangle and it takes longer. Like horrific things.
Why would they do this?
And so I don't know, believe me, I'm going to ask them when I get out there. But it's been like a big controversy because half the country hates it. And the other half is like, no, this is like, they're called Galgarians. They're like, no, this is our culture. Well, your culture sucks. But
same with bullfighting in Spain. They say it's a culture and that's bullshit.
That's trash.
Isn't it crazy how that works? Like, you have the people that just don't want change, and then you have the people pushing change, and some people just don't want to change because it's tradition or their roots or whatever it is. That's wild.
An excuse.
Yeah, exactly. So the country, everyone was fighting the country like, you need to change this. So they finally passed a law and they're like, okay, it is illegal to torture and kill any animal except for the Galgos.
What?
And it's like, so it's still, they kill, the ballpark estimate is between 60 and 100,000 dogs a year.
Oh my God.
So we're going out, we're bringing 32 back with us, which, I mean, it's 32 of 100,000, but for those 32, obviously it makes a huge difference. We get them into homes, we get them into fosters, but I'm also bringing a camera crew out to be like, because nobody knows about it. I did a post about it to raise money because we're trying to fundraise because it's expensive. We're flying to Spain, we're bringing dogs back.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so I'm trying to raise awareness, and I did a post and everyone's like, I had no idea this was the thing. I mean, the video did like 100,000 views. You read the comments and there's like 500 comments of, wait, what? I didn't know about this. Wait, when is this? And then all these people from Spain are like, oh yeah, we hate it. It's been going on for a while. Like, this is going on. And it's like, dang, okay, so people need to know about this. So we're going to go film, we're going to document it. And I want the world to know.
We recently heard something that had a profound impact on us. And it was that real compassion is ruthless. Am I saying this right, Tanya? And, and I think this is something that resonates with us specifically around animals and children. When you start dealing with things that can't defend themselves, being nice, and we're finding in ourselves that we're like a little too nice. Yeah. I actually found a journal from my first ayahuasca ceremony last week, and I completely forgot the lessons and had all the lessons in it. And one of the things it said was about being too nice. And it said I was aiding and abetting by being nice to people who were doing cruel things to animals or people. And so you have every right to talk your shit. If you want to create change, like you're creating awareness, like what does that look like? Creating awareness and getting pressure to make legislation over in Spain.
That's the thing. I mean, luckily we live in a world where something can grow overnight. I mean, the right video will get enough attention that they'll be like, oh shoot, we need to look at the cancel culture. Basically, I want to cancel Spain. That's my goal. Not all of Spain, obviously. Love you, Spain.
Just
Thanks
until
for
they
hosting.
fix it.
But yeah, just until they fix that. Like the Galgarians, like this whole culture thing. No, there's no excuse. Like, it's 2025. There's no excuse to be torturing and killing dogs and saying, but it's our culture. No. Then get a new culture. I'm sorry. Like that's terrible.
That's culture for psychopaths.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally. That's why they have like animal abuse laws, because those people become psychopaths. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, but we have to be cautious out there because the rescues we're working with, some of the Galgarians bring their dogs and they'll give them their dogs instead of killing them. And it's kind of like fine, you take them and so we have to kind of be nice to those people. Otherwise they'll just kill them.
Yeah. So
it's kind of a tricky situation, but if we find people that aren't going to give up their dogs and do that, I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. I'll let you guys know.
You should interview them. Well, if they're willing to go on camera.
I'm going to try to. That's why we're bringing the crew.
Get their point of view.
Yeah.
Find out, and this is the art, which is media, it has the ability to change cultures. I can't remember if it was Aristotle or Socrates, but he tried to have all the storytellers thrown out of Athens. And he said that they were a danger to society because they didn't use rational thinking to communicate their ideas, that they wrapped their ideas in emotions, and that they were able to persuade the mob, and they could change the culture and push it in one direction or the next. And that's the power of art. And if you're talking about like non-violent protest or non-violent resistance, like that's how you do it. It's exactly what you're doing it, and you're doing it the right way. It's hats off to you. It's disgusting, but you're doing the right thing.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see how it goes, but hopefully the videos, go viral and people start putting pressure on the government, and they're like, yeah, this isn't okay. Because, I mean, they've clearly flown under the radar. You guys haven't heard about it. Like, I didn't know about it, and I'm in the rescue world. So they keep it very under the rug, and I'm here to bring it to the surface. So, are
you going there at the time when they usually do this? Or is it there like a particular time where it's like a festival sort of thing? Or is it?
No, it's, I guess it's just like around hunting season. I guess it's after each hunting season. But I don't know. I don't know if there's like a specific time that if it lines up when we're going. I haven't gotten that. I don't know if I hope so or hope not, because it's like I kind of want to be there when it's happening so we can try and stop it and we can document it. But I also, seeing that's something that can mess with someone for a long time.
I was gonna say, how do you compartmentalize like emotionally? Because you
have to, and I think it's. Being in rescue, I was talking to someone about this the other day, you have to compartmentalize because they have something called compassion fatigue where people, they give so much compassion, eventually they're done and they just drop out of rescue. And I mean, it's hard. Like any day when I go out and do trap, neuter, return, I always make it I try and make it like, yeah, this is great. We're helping. Every day doing it is still a sad day. So for instance, yesterday, we got the kittens out of the car. They're going to go to fosters, and we got the mama who has a big gash on her arm, but she's going to get fixed and put back because she's too feral. We don't have enough room in the shelters, and we don't have enough fosters. So in a day, these kittens lost their mom. They're terrified. They don't know where they're going. The mom just lost her babies. She's going to have to go back. So it's like, yay, happy ending. Kittens are getting a home. Yeah, you have to think of it that way. But if you really start and think about it, you're like, man, I just took these kids away from their mom. Like, you really just have to not think about it and just know it's for the greater good, because otherwise, it's stuff that'll keep you up at night.
Do you ever, how does that work for you emotionally? If you're like pushing it down, do you ever have to process it? Do you ever have days where you get the compassion fatigue, or you find yourself having like a major catharsis all, spontaneously?
Yeah. I mean, there are days where it's hit, and I don't think I've ever let it fully hit because I don't think I can, I'm sure at some point it'll come up, and I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe it'll happen in Spain, and, I don't know what their extradition laws are, but we'll see what happens.
We try to compartmentalize for certain things we're passionate about, certain initiatives, activist initiatives. And I guess I'll speak personally. Tanya, I know you feel the same way. I find that it stops the good feelings too. I'll start to find myself a bit numb. And it's because I don't know how to just block the bad ones and then allow the good feelings to come through. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
You feel that?
Oh, yeah. I've been told on more than one occasion that I'm very closed off and cold. And I didn't used to always be that way. And I think living in LA definitely helps. But, because you have to be out here. I mean, the night I had my jaw surgery, a woman was shot and I think killed on my street, Oh
my God.
And it's like, that's just living in LA. Like, you eventually have to. I think I realized the first time I was officially a local, I was walking down the street and a homeless guy just started screaming bloody murder and obscenities at me. And I didn't look up from my phone. I just kept texting and walking by, and I got like 5 feet past him, and I was like, the old Colorado me would have like taken off running and been like, what is happening? And it didn't faze me at all. And I'm like, wow, I've really just like shut off. It's crazy.
Yeah, LA will definitely do that to you. So I used to do animal rescue. All throughout high school, I was on call 24/7 for native animal rescue. I trained unadoptable dogs at the ASPCA, and then so cool. I also worked at Marine Mammal Rescue, or volunteered at Marine Mammal Rescue. And so that, I understand what you're talking about having to steel yourself when it comes to that, because the stuff that I would see over and over and over again, like rescuing animals and picking up these animals, was absolutely insane. I have this one story. It's like, kind of just encapsulates my time of being on call for this native animal rescue. So I get a call and they were like, there's a pelican that needs to be picked up at the wharf. And it was pouring down rain that day. And I must be like 16 years old. I just got my license. So I'm driving down there. I get to the wharf. And so apparently pelicans, when the brains are happening, they start just flying like right over the roads. And they just kind of hover until a wind hits and then they get hit by a car. Like, I don't know why they do this weird hovering thing. So anyway, I go down the wharf, and inside the lifeguard tower or lifeguard station, there was a pelican that had been hit by a car, and all of its guts were hanging out. Ooh, like all of it. Half of its body was gone. And I was only picking it up to take it to be put to sleep. Because obviously I couldn't do it because I'm not a vet. So I'm 16 years old. They like pick up this bird. I put it in a box, and I have to like cover its head with, a sheet just so it stays calm. So I have it in the front seat of my car, driving back. It's pouring rain, and I'm about a block away from the rescue place, right? And all of a sudden, I feel like something like looking at me, and it just goes and like shakes the thing off of its head and like goes whoop. It looks at me like this, and I was like, oh no! And I'm driving, and it goes like this, like straight over me, and starts flapping its wings everywhere. Oh my gosh. It's pouring rain, and I'm like, oh my God, there's blood everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. So I pull over to the side of the road, and I get out, and I open the side door because I can't get it from this side. And there's literally a man standing there with an umbrella and his little dog. And he's like, do you need help? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm grabbing this thing. I literally have its like guts in my arm. And I have to carry, like, it won't sit in the box anymore. Yeah. So I'm holding it on my lap and just like trying to drive. And there's just blood everywhere. Whoa. It was so gnarly. And I get there and I'm just like, here's the bird. And they obviously helped me clean stuff off, but it was so gnarly. Gosh. But it's one of those things that like, if I had not been working in rescue for so long, there's no way I would have been able to handle that. No, absolutely. And like, again, you need people that can be cold to it. And it sounds so dark, but even like Beagle Freedom, there was a dog there that every time I would walk by outside, and they were in electric fences. That's just how they kept them outside. It would like start crying for attention, and I would climb over, and it would just sit there and snuggle and love on me. And when I got up to leave, it would cry so loud and squeal. And it's like, okay, I was like, hey, come over and film this. Like, we need to film this. And it sucked, but I had to like pet it, get up and walk away. And I was like, if someone sees this, they're going to adopt this dog. Yeah. So I have to be the guy that tells this dog, sorry, I'm leaving you right now. And it hurt, but I was like, nope, I got to do this. And sure enough, within that day, it had 5 applications. And it's like, okay, that sucked for me, and that sucked for the dog at the time. Now it has a home. So it's like, we need those people that can just shut off and do it. And it's not easy, but it's like, again, the greater good, like you have to do it. Yeah. Hats off to both of you. It's beautiful. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this aspect of doing this type of work. You know, and I don't know. I mean, Tanya, are you able to compartmentalize at all when it comes to helping the animals? Do you always feel the bleeding heart? I mean, I still have a bleeding heart, but I think if like something is injured or something like that, I just kind of am like in fix mode instead of like, oh no, it's like, no, just fix the problem. Yeah. I mean, you have to. Yeah. And it's hard now, especially with social media, because people are the worst on social media. You know, I mean, you got these like armchair activists, as I like to call them, people who they're sitting in a lazy boy at home. They're like, that's not how I would do it. Oh, you're taking the kittens? What a monster. You're a jerk. You're an asshole. And it's like, okay, these kittens are covered in fleas in a dump, covered like with coyotes floating around. I'm like, I'm not going to leave them here. And then they message, wow, you took them away from their mom. You're a monster. I'm like, you are on the couch right now eating Cheetos. Like, don't even, but you get enough of those, like, you're like, okay, I did something good today. And then you get 10 or 20 people like, monsters, or you're a jerk. And it's like, okay, I'm getting it from the cats. I'm getting it from them. Like, it hits. It hits hard. So every once in a while, I'll crucify one of those people where then I'll just be like, you know what? Can't do it today. And I'll pin their comment at the top and be like, go get them. Oh, and my followers, oh man, chum in the waters. I'm telling you, they will, I don't even have to say anything. They will
they'll shred these people. I don't do it often, but every once in a while it just hits me and I'm like, I don't have the patience today. Pin comment, and that person, they'll eventually delete it and put their account on private. And I'm like, well.
Thank you to Nathan's followers for protecting
thank
Nathan.
you guys.
That's
thank
your
you guys.
camera right there.
Hey, thanks guys. I appreciate the backup because I can't do it.
What do you call your followers?
I don't know that I have. I do have a group on there. I guess they were I call them my clouder because clouder is a group of cats. So I guess I'd call them my clouder, but I've never actually verbally said a name
You just
for them.
did.
There we go. It's my clouder. I got. Thanks, clouder. Appreciate you. Appreciate the backup.
So this is amazing. Me and Tanya have been talking a lot about lately about like the word sacred. Have we talked about this on here? We repeat. We're realizing we repeat the same shit on the show.
We're trying not to. In our comment section, like, we're gonna talk about this guy. I'm like, shit.
I'm like,
already
heard this.
Sorry.
Now we're talking so much.
Fast forward.
But whatever. if so, we've been talking a lot about like what the word sacred means, and what's sacred, what's not sacred, and where we've kind of landed is this idea that like what's given to us, what's sort of natural of this world, that's sacred, right? Friendship, family, the earth, animals. Animals are sacred. We have a lot of people come on here and talk about things like UFOs and contact and these sorts of things. And we feel like until we fix our relationship with the other life forms we share the planet with, that shit is never going to happen. There's this phenomenon taking place where people are seeing shit in the sky and going, what is it? Well, we know the government's covering it up, and people are trying to discern why they're behaving that way if they've been appearing in the sky for 70 years and disappearing and with making no actual contact. And sometimes we joke that like, hey, well, maybe the inmates are running the asylum and we all have guns and we're killing and eating each other. And it's like, so we feel like in the first step to contact or whatever, growing as a species is fixing these relationships.
100%. If I were in a UFO and I looked down and saw them torturing and killing 60,000 galgos and like doing the thing where they fin sharks and like throw them, like the amount of like animal torture we do, like if I was in that, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we just wipe this one out, or should we just not go down there? I mean, the fact that they haven't wiped us out, I appreciate it. Like we're trying, but like I can't say I would blame them. Independence Day, I'm like, I get it. The more you get into animal rescue, the more you're like, yeah, they should. We're a plague. They should probably get rid of us.
But the problem is I truly do believe that there are more good people than bad people in the world.
Yeah.
But the bad people are just louder.
They're so loud.
And so it makes it really difficult. But I mean, if I am just like walking around or doing whatever, like the majority of people are good. They really are. They're good people. And especially the people that watch this show, by the way, are
such good people.
Our audience is the best ever.
And the clouders.
And the clouders.
Yep, the clouder. And they'll be watching you guys now too, so it's perfect.
Nice. But it does suck because the people that are shitheads are just so loud, and so it makes it a lot more difficult, and people just automatically assume like the world is really shitty and going to hell. But I don't know. I feel like I see the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good to try and even if it's not true, I think it's good to try and focus on that, because if you can't focus and be like, you know what, majority of the people are good, I think it makes it real hard to not lose hope. So, I mean, I do like to think that most people have good intentions with what they do. Even that's one reason I avoid politics like the plague, is because I think both people on both sides are doing what they think is best. Like this is what they think is the best thing. And I think everybody's just like, no, they're evil. They're doing that. I'm like, okay, not everybody can be evil. Both sides can't be evil. I think they're trying with what method they think. And then, the media gets in and screws it all up for views. And but yeah, I mean, no, I agree. I think there are a lot of people that are trying to do good. Yeah. It's so hard with all the bad, because the people who are bad are really bad. Okay, so I want to take this into a paranormal. Let's do it. Paranormal space. Okay, so anybody who's had a cat knows that they look like they're looking at stuff that's not there all the time. Yeah, they know when you're high. When you smoke and you look at your cat, they're like, "What's up?" They stare into your soul. They know. They're like, "I know." Yeah. They're like, "I'm with you. Now you're at my level, bitch." Yeah. But okay, so first of all, cats, their purr. What is it? It's like 100. It's 25 to 150 hertz or something like that, which helps with bone density. Yeah, helps heal. Which is amazing. So they already have healing abilities. Like Cody was talking about, the ancient Egyptians talked about them like being the guardians of the underworld and
There's just so much lore.
Yeah.
Have you had any experiences with your cats doing weird shit?
Oh yeah, I mean, I did a video about it a long time ago. Cats love to find like a random corner of your house and just and they'll just stare at it and they'll like squint and then they'll like get nervous and they'll run away. And it's like, in my skit, I'm like, what do you see? Like, should I be scared? Are you scared? And then they'll take off and you're like, do I run? Like, I don't know what to do here. And it's like, I can't tell if it's just cats messing with you, because cats love to mess with you.
They're
like,
so smart.
knocking things off counters just to get a reaction out of you. Like, cats love to mess with you, but it's like, also like, what do you see that I don't see? You know, like, because there are times where they see something and they're focused on it. I'm like, you see something I don't see.
And their hair starts standing up. You're like, that's something.
That's interesting, because the lineage of cats, Tanya was mentioning about like Egypt, right? They're sacred. They were believed to be like guardians of the spirit world and protectors. I mean, this is also one of the reasons witches are known for having cats around them, right? And we know now witches are the healers and the doulas of their people at that time. There is an old belief that essentially, you know how cats sleep all the time? That they're essentially like planeswalkers, that they spend more time in the astral than they spend more time in the physical world. Almost like when they're here, it's their version of the dream, and when they're sleeping, they're really on there. Like, this is almost like their dream life, where they spend way less time here.
That would explain why they're such risk takers. Like, I'm going to jump to that shelf even though it might kill me, because they're just like dreaming, I guess. They're like, yeah, why not? Let's see what happens. Let's climb this 80-foot tree.
Have you? Yeah, right, exactly. Have you ever felt sick and had your cat like come up and roll up on you and
Every
sit?
time.
Exactly. Right?
Whenever, if I'm sick or I'm sad, they are right there. Like, they like on my chest, purring, making biscuits. Like, they 100% know.
Making biscuits.
Making biscuits.
Yeah, in science, Tanya were mentioning it. They figured out that their purs, I think it's like, what is it, 25?
20 to 150 hertz.
It has healing properties. It can increase bone density.
Oh yeah.
I had a friend that did something called cat Reiki, and he's like a very like normal dude from New York, and he's like, yeah, I met this lady, she did cat Reiki. I've never heard of this before in my life. He said he got brought into a room, he laid on a table, and she opened the door, and like 10 cats just walked at the same time and climbed up and just laid on him and all around him and just purred. And he said his whole body started to vibrate with the purrs.
Whoa.
That's cool.
He said I just like felt like I was vibrating and lost like I didn't feel my body anymore. And I was like, did you like heal anything? He's like, I felt great afterwards.
No, yeah, I mean, like it is a healing principle, so that would make sense if like all of them laid on you and like that'd be intense. I've yet to experience that. I tried to do that. I did an overnight in a cat cafe. Terrible idea. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. It was 45 cats, and we brought drinks. We like played N64. We watched Golden Girls, and it was a lock-in, and we all tried to sleep. And the entire night they're running on us because they're not used to people, so they're pouncing on us. Yeah, they're coming up like smacking you in the face and taking off. Like, they're just like, these people are in it, like, we don't know what to do. So it was like when we tried to sleep, they spent the entire night just messing with us. It was hilarious, but didn't get the purring like that person got.
It was not a healing experience.
I was hoping for that. This is not what I got at all. But yeah, back what you were saying about the whole, I just learned a whole bunch about the Egyptian thing because I just did this whole campaign with Sheba where we went looking for a descendant of the pharaoh's cat.
Sheba.
Yeah, it's a cat food brand, and their whole thing is like the Egyptians and stuff like that. So there's a mummified cat that belonged to the pharaoh in the Brooklyn Museum, and they took DNA from this cat, and we were having people send in DNA samples trying to find a descendant in the States, and we found one in Atlanta.
Whoa.
So we went there and visited this cat, and it had the coolest eyes. Like, you're like, okay, this cat is definitely a descendant. But they taught me so much about like the Egyptians. They mummified their cats. They did the whole same ritual that their owners had. If somebody lost their cat, they would shave their eyebrows as like a sign of mourning.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, like that was like, dang, that's dedication. Like, they obviously loved their cats if they're like shaving eyebrows and giving them the full like mummification and everything.
Oh, is that the only animal they mummified?
As far as I know, yeah.
We need an Egyptologist.
Actually, no, there was dogs. There was a dog there too. So I think dogs and cats.
Just one dog.
One dog. Only one. His name was Fido. It was great.
What was the name of the cat you found?
I don't know that they actually had the name of it.
Oh no, I may have the cat you found.
So the cat's name is Dahab.
Yeah.
And she actually adopted. It helped that she adopted it in Egypt, made it a little easier. But she found it at a rescue like a year ago or 2 years ago and brought it back to the States. But I mean, when you see this cat's eyes, like doesn't have like normal cat eyes. Like it's very, like it looks like a cat, but they're very, very special eyes. So yeah, if you go follow Dahab and you'll see the descendant of the Pharaoh's cat. It's pretty crazy.
Is there just like spirits coming out of the eyes?
Not that I know of, but like you just look at the eyes and you're like, it's almost like they're, I don't even know how to explain. You'll just have to look at this cat's eye. It was a very cool experience.
I saw you posting about that, but I didn't dive too deep into the background story.
Oh yeah, it was like a whole traveling, like Indiana Jones travel the country. We did like 9 states in 7 days. Like went to Boston.
Is that why you were there? Yeah. Are you in your gear all the time? Your Indiana Jones gear?
That's why I was rocking the gear.
I was like, Nathan really likes this outfit now. I think this might be his new.
It was so funny. Like I was doing this quest and that, they're like, yeah, we're thinking like an Indiana Jones, like mummy vibe. So I dressed up as the mummy for Halloween, or Brendan Fraser from the Mummy this year. And I was like, guys, I just ordered a bullwhip and a hat. And they were like, well, we want to take this seriously. I was like, I take it seriously, but like I brought the whip. So I brought this and like I dressed up the night before the museum. It was so funny. I had a bullwhip, like gun holster, like hat, like everything. And I sent them to look for approval. And they're like, I don't think we want you like that. I'm like, come on.
Why?
You're like, I'm wearing it anyways.
Well, I don't think they knew my personality. I think they thought they're like, this is kind of like a mocking thing. I'm like, no, this is just my personality. Yeah. I don't take anything seriously. And I was like, we're going to look for a lost descendant of a Pharaoh's cat. Like, there's a little bit of humor in that. I'm a 30-year-old professional cat lady. Yeah. There's humor in that. Like, you have to embrace it.
Watch any of your videos. Literally, the majority of them are hilarious.
Yeah, I don't take myself seriously. Like, I take the rescue work seriously, but me as like a professional, I'm like, I'm in my 30s and I'm a cat lady. That is a weird thing to say, and I'm totally fine with it. But you have to embrace how ridiculous it is.
That's awesome. Have you ever taken mushrooms around your cats?
Around my cats, no. So this is something like, so mushrooms, and I recently told my mom about this, so she's okay with it now. But mushroom, because like I grew up in Colorado, and like, shrooms are like, oh, they're a party. It's for, crazy people. And like a couple years ago, one of my buddies was like, I've never tried mushrooms. I'm so curious. He did all this research. He's like, it's natural. It's whatever. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm down. Like let's try it. We looked it up. It seems safe. We went to the park and had the most beautiful experience of my life. It's not at all what I thought. It's not crazy colors. It literally it stripped my ego. Any like, oh, I'm cooler than this person. I don't talk to strangers. It was gone. And all I did was reflect on, how can I be a better person? Like, who can I help? I like went through every friend I had, every member of my family. I ended up buying my brothers both VR headsets the next day because my dad at the time was very sick and they were like taking care of him and I wasn't there to help. And I was like, I want to do something for them. I want to help them. Like, I thought about my sister-in-law and I was like, I don't call her enough. I'm going to call her tomorrow. Like, it really just made me reflect and be a better person. And what made that day particularly amazing, this was back when I used to feed squirrels every day. I had visitors that would come knock on the door and I'd feed the squirrels.
Oh, yes, that's right. Where you built a little picnic table.
Yeah. So I'm in the park and I'm under this like purple tree and it was like in bloom. And I look up and there's like 80 squirrels. Like, I don't know, it was probably like 5, but it looked like 80. They're everywhere. And I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, man, I wish I had like brought a handful of nuts. And I get up and I'm like looking and I look over and there's these old men with bags of nuts throwing nuts. And I'm like, hey, are you guys feeding the squirrels? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, man, I was thinking I should have brought nuts to do that. And he was like, take as much as you want, man. And I was like, are you serious right now? And he's like, yeah. So I grabbed 2 handfuls of nuts. So I'm just in the park hand feeding squirrels, reflecting on life. And it was just like one of the most beautiful, like my buddy, like he actually broke down in tears and was just like, this is so beautiful. And it just completely stripped my opinion of what that was. Yeah. And now I'm just like, wow, it's like a beautiful thing, like to take and just like self-reflect and like.
Yeah, especially if like you have to, like if you're doing what you're doing and there's a lot of like compartmentalize, you're doing, you're going into the field as they say and helping a lot, seeing a lot of suffering, seeing a lot of tragedy and having to compartmentalize. It's a good tool that will like open you back up, reconnect, get a cry out, let some of the emotions out and,
makes you feel like a child too, a little bit. Yeah. It's just because your walls are down.
That's the thing. It's like any other time if my buddy like was next to me, like before this, now I'm different, but like before that, if my buddy had like started crying next to me and being like, this is beautiful, I would have been like, okay, like grow up, man, like what's wrong with you? But in that moment, like my ego was so down that I was like, good for him. Like, I love that for him. Like, I love that he's so, and it just, then you come out of it and you're like, wow, like that's who I want to be at all times. Like you kind of remember, feel like every time you do it, you're like, no, that's who I want to be. That's who I want to be. And it really does. I think it really does change you, but in the best way. You know?
I always think of it as like, so when you're talking about that with your friend starting to like, you know, tear up and stuff, is that it's actually who we are naturally, but society programs us in different ways to steal us and, you know, make us think we need to be a certain way or whatever. And so we build up these like programs. And so the great thing about psychedelics and plant medicines are that they do allow us to deprogram ourselves, because we can go back to that sort of reset phase and be like, wait a second, I like that. That feels way better, being more chill and open instead of hardening around everything.
It's weird because, you know, I did ayahuasca this year for the first time. And there was times where I was talking to my past self and I would feel how I felt as that younger version of me. And it's hard. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like a different person, but a softer person, like somebody without walls. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I was like, I felt what it was like to be that person. And I was like, man, I really am not that guy anymore. And I miss that it was a weird feeling to feel that vulnerability again. I'm like, wow, he was like very innocent and very like opening and trusting. But again, moving to LA, like you had to harden up quick out here. You know, the amount of people, my first week, I remember somebody walked up to me and it was a Target and he's like on a scooter, you know, it was like very heavyset gentleman on a scooter comes up to me and he's like, God, I love Los Angeles. And this was back when I was like modeling. I was like 19 years old. And I like looked over at him and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like he just loves Los Angeles. 2 girls right there immediately dipped. And I was like, it's kind of rude. Like the guy's just being nice. And he looks at me, he's like, what about you? You love LA? And I was like, yeah, so far, like little clean shaven, you know, Nathan. I was like, yeah, so far it's great. He's like, oh, you just moved here? I was like, yeah. And so I'm sitting here talking to him like you would in Colorado, you know, open and whatever. He's like, you know, you never asked me why I love LA. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess not. Why do you love LA? And he's like, well, come here. And I was like, okay. So I'm just, you know, little Colorado, like, let me get, and he's like, because where else can you look at sexy boys like you in a Target other than LA? And I just went, I was not built for that. Like, I didn't know what to do to that. And I was like, okay, I have to go. And I didn't know what to do with it. And it was the next day, similar situation. I'm like in a store, a guy comes up to me, he's like, hey man, good to see you. And I was like, oh shoot, I don't remember this guy's name. I don't remember if it was like a casting. I'm like, yeah, good to see you. And he's like, yeah. He's like, so my buddy and I are having a party tonight. We want you to come. And I was like, what? Your buddy? And I look over and this creepiest guy I've ever seen, like Dahmer glasses, leans behind another aisle and is like, and I'm like, I'm busy. I don't like, and it's just, it put me in such a shock. And I was like, I don't know how to do LA. And I had to like toughen up and harden up that like innocent little Colorado boy. And it's like, so getting to go ayahuasca, I got to kind of feel that again. And I was like, man, that is a different person. Like if that version came here, I would like have to protect that kid at all costs because it's just not the same person.
There's also something very toxic about Los Angeles when it comes to like the acting and or entertainment industry in general for music or modeling or anything like that. I mean, we had talked big when the stuff was coming out about the Abercrombie, the guy who owned Abercrombie.
And I worked there for 5 years.
Yeah, he used to be the model outside. And and so, but you were like, oh yeah, people, that was like a thing. People knew that was happening.
What happened with Abercrombie?
The CEO, I can't remember his name. Very like, kind of looked like Sloth from the Goonies. Dude, he was just known as being like a total creep to all of the models and like also I think it was, I probably shouldn't say his name, but the photographer who did all the shoot, the models would talk and they were like, because I almost booked one of the shoots to go beyond the marketing. They were like, just so you know, like they make everybody get naked the first day and like stand there and like do breath work and he'll come up and put his hand on you and have you breathe. And they're like, they call it getting bruised. Well, I said his name, whatever. They're like, they call it getting bruised. And they're like, yeah, just know that's going to happen. And I'm like, and we're just like cool with that. And it was like something that everybody knew about it, whatever. And then of course, you know, like this year it comes out and that was like, 13 years ago for me or something. And now it comes out like, yeah, can you believe this happened? I'm like, oh yeah,
that's
we all knew.
You're like, yeah, I was a part of it.
Work?
Yeah, I don't know. He'd like put his hand on your chest and have you breathe. It was just an excuse to touch models.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
the whole
Like
thing.
it's a photo shoot. Like you don't need to touch the models, guys.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, is that there was like sexual allegations against the guy
That's
that
terrible.
owns Abercrombie.
That's terrible. Yeah, this industry's fucked. This town's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
You mentioned your visiting a more vulnerable version of yourself in your ceremony. Are you down to share your ceremony with the audience?
Yeah, of course.
Since we're
I'm pretty
going down
open,
this
but yeah,
road.
we're here already. Like, why not?
Obviously, what you don't feel like sharing, you don't have to.
No, like I said, I'm a pretty open book. It was first night was pretty crazy. They say we'll give you this amount of the whatever you get, the ayahuasca
brew, yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, wait an hour and a half, and then if you don't really feel it, take another. And I was like, all right. So I got there and I kind of felt sick, didn't feel sick, didn't really see much. And there's people next to me like wailing and crying. And I'm like, man, they're on different stuff. Like, I don't know what she ordered, but like, I'm not feeling it. And then later she's like, okay, it's time. And I was like, it's been like 20 minutes. She's like, do you want to take another? I was like, yeah. All right. And I went up and she's like, do you want more? And I was like, yeah. She's like, are you trying to purge? And I was like, I guess. Cause I feel that that's like part of it is like the throwing up in the bucket. And I was like, yeah, I'll take, let's do it. So she gives me them out. And man, I think it was 5 minutes later when the room started she was up banging a drum and the room started to pulse and like with the music. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And then ironically enough, it was so funny. I went, immediately was back in my freshman year of high school. And I had forgotten this ever existed. Like I completely forgot about this memory. I was in the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom, and normally I didn't really care about using public stalls like when I was younger. Realize now, like, I hate it, and it's because of this. I was in the bathroom, and a bunch of, like, the jock kids came up and started, like, peeking in and banging on the door, being like, oh, Nathan's taking a shit. Like, look at him. Oh, it's a floater. And it was, like, my first week of freshman year, you know? And it just...
It's fucked up.
all these guys, like, trying to look over and all this stuff. And at the time... And so I'm doing ayahuasca, and I have them doing that. At the same time, I was coming back and forth into the room and I had my bucket and I was like, I don't want to throw up in front of people. Like, I don't want to do it. And I was fighting that well back in high school with that. And it was like this weird thing. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Everyone else is throwing up. I don't care. And I threw up and I purged and it was gone. High school, that memory was gone. And I was back in the room and I was like, okay, that was deep. Like, I was like coherent enough to be like, did I just get rid of that like negative thing? It was so weird. And then the night went on and I basically had to relive every traumatic experience I had at that age. So when my mom first started dating my stepdad, I had to relive that. I had to relive my dad passing 2 years ago. Oh. And what's weird is I wasn't reliving it now as the hardened, like, yeah, I got this. Like when with my mom, like I was that little kid again. Like I felt like the little kid. So like that was the first time I had cried and it had been like two years since I had cried, and I ended up crying through that whole night and then came out of it and was good. And then we did it again the next day. Next day was rough. It was hot. It was like 80 degrees. Like on the floor and like that, it was kind of like similar to mushrooms where I went through all my relationships was like, who do I need to talk to? Who do I not? And so it was different. But that first night was just, like every traumatic experience was like, we're reliving it. And then I got to talk. And the next day was when I talked to like my past self and like kind of felt who the past self was. And it was weird.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was an interesting situation.
What was the conversation when you talked to your past self?
You know what's weird? It wasn't words. It was like exchanging emotions. Like I knew what he was trying, like it sounds crazy now, but it's like I knew what he was trying to tell me. And it was very much like a feeling of like, don't change and try and go back to who you were. Like try and go back to being that like caring person, and not be so closed off. And it was because it's something I still battle with, because it's like you can't really be that person until you feel like you're in a safe space, I guess. And being in LA, you're just not in a safe space. It's just not how it is out here. So I don't know. It was really weird. It was quite the experience.
Did you just say that it was about being comfortable enough to go back to being that person? And so this is fascinating. We have a lot of people come on here and they talk about IFS, internal family systems. Oh. And essentially what they do is they bring you back to a trauma and they have you essentially either rewrite the memory, be there to, Tanya's had this experience, many people, they rewrite the memory or protect your younger self or like or kind of walk your younger self through.
Are you talking about the eye movement one?
Yeah. And we talk about this a lot, but in shamanism, they call it soul retrieval. They believe a part your soul, to protect itself, kind of breaks apart. And that's that wall we feel. And we kind of have a trouble getting back to that person. And by reliving the memory or reconnecting, you can like bring a part of yourself that's been disconnected.
And you can change the past as well. And then you're rewiring your own brain to like see the situation differently.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom actually talks to me about that because she's a heart physics coach, which is they kind of use religion and science to like go back to past traumas and kind of revisit it and see how that might have manifested in like a knee injury or a heart problem. And like,
that's amazing.
Like all the trauma basically. So she was telling me something about like tapping where they go back, and I have no idea what kind of tapping it is, but it's like that where you go back and you go through the experience doing this tapping thing and kind of rewrite it and get rid of it and move on from it. She's been trying to get me to do it for like a year now. Sorry, Mom. We will get to it.
I've heard that the tapping actually works. I think they're kind of, you're tapping on your lymphatic spots or something.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
That.
Yeah, she said something about lymphatic, like
meridians.
She hasn't gone through the full process
They do them
yet.
like here. I know that. They're like, I've seen people do the tapping stuff and they say it works. So
what you're talking about reconnecting with your younger self and going back in those memories, and we've had that those experiences before. Sometimes when we pray, we will say, "Oh, we're praying to our future selves," because having the experience of going back and being there for a trauma and helping your younger self. I mean,
that whole thing of me being in the bathroom and like having like throwing up in the like, I feel like that's exactly what was happening. I was going back and like having to go through it, and then like throw up in the bucket was like me getting over it, and it's kind of a weird, like it was like a very forced example, but yeah, it like was crazy.
Did you get healing from it? Like, did you feel like changing from it?
Yeah, well, like I said, like I didn't want to throw up in front of people. I was very insecure about throwing up in front of people, and it was almost like it was showing me like you're insecure to throw up because of this thing that happened back then. So I think me throwing up into the bucket actually like got rid of it. So
it is very wild, like working with ayahuasca or mushrooms too, but usually it's not so purgy. But you definitely get over any sort of fear you have with like purging in front of people or crying or like whatever it is, because everyone's going through it and you're like, oh, yeah, great, this is actually totally fine.
Oh, they're very open about it. Like they'll come up like, yeah, you want to cry? Like, do you want to throw up? Like, we got you. And I'm like, wow, this is more support than I've gotten in a long time. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience.
What do you do, and what have you been doing to essentially bring those lessons from the medicine experiences into your life? Like how are you able, we call it integration. How have you been able to integrate those experiences to create actionable change?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's hard because like I can give advice that I also don't take, if we're being honest, but I know it's because like you like you said, you have to harden yourself to do the work you do, or you can't do it. That being said, you have to find ways to go back and relax, and you need to find people that you can trust to be comfortable with those people and relax, and much easier said than done. So I would say if people are trying to get into this, knowing that going in, okay, go in, be gung-ho, ready, but take care of yourself along the way too. And I think for me, it's given me the one thing that I have taken away with it is that I need to have more patience with people, because it's so easy to just cut someone off and be like, you know what? No, I'm not helping them. I'm not doing this. I don't like, whatever. And you really have to be like, okay, they're fighting their own demons. Their probably walls are up. Like, let's work with them. And, it doesn't always work. A rescue it's a hard place with relationships. Bridges are getting burned left and right, but it's...
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's...
Why?
I'm going to say compassion fatigue. I think people are so burnt out. It doesn't take much for somebody to be, get rubbed the wrong way, or they're not doing it the way I would do it. And I mean, people are just hurt, It's a really tough... You're people who are constantly trying their best and seeing animals hurt and suffer it, because it doesn't end. It's like digging in sand. I could go out and, when we do these like TNR events, we're rescuing like 35 cats, and it's a drop in the ocean. We could go get another 35 the next day and not even notice. So it's hard. It wears on you. And I think it wears on the people around you too. So I'm just now getting to a point where I'm finding people that I can shut off with. Like I just joined a new gym, and one of the reasons I joined the new gym, it wasn't just because I was like, oh, it's a fancy gym. It's because there's some really good guys there that are their actor friends that they're like, hey, no, like we work out together all the time. Like come work out with us. And I've been going, and I've only been like a week and a half now. And man, just having guys that I can like shut off with and be like, let's just work out. Let's make inappropriate jokes. Let's go grab a beer. Let's just like chill has been, I mean, it's so worth the extra enormous money that this gym charges, but it's worth it because it's not just a gym now. I'm like, okay, I get a place to just shut down and unwind because it just never ends. And if you don't give yourself that break, it's pretty rough.
It's time for yourself to to recharge and rejuvenate.
And you are go all the time. Like I don't think I know anybody that is so on the go like you. It's pretty wild. So hearing that, we love you. So hearing that you're finding that time for yourself is like so important because we worry about you.
No, I appreciate it. I get it all the time because like you guys, like coming here to build a wall, like I'm helping a buddy renovate his condo right now in Orange County. And like, I'm helping a buddy change a toilet tomorrow at his new house. And people are like, you need to stop. And I'm like, I will. But like, if there's good work to be done, or I have friends that have shown up for me, if I'm like, hey, if you've shown up for me, the drop of the hat. That's why when you're like, hey, we need help building this wall. And I found out I was moving. I was like, oh, okay, I'm still going to show up. I don't care. Like if you have good people in your life, show up for them. I don't care. I don't care what it is. If they need you, like, because it's hard to find good people. Like you guys are good people. I can count on you guys.
You're good people.
Man. And if you find good people, like, like you got to show up for them, no matter what.
I think what you're saying is actually really profound and good for people to hear, especially, a lot of people that listen to the show are very sensitive, like people that want to do good or well-meaning and well-intentioned people. And me and Tanya, for a while, we were doing a lot of healing work, a lot of ceremonies, a lot of just helping everyone that we could help. I mean, and we started to feel like, almost like, I don't know, like it was a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Like, and one of the things we had to start to figure out was, is there a more conscious way? Like, what is the most effective and efficient way to help people? And actually, that very much is the advent of this show.
Yeah.
We were like, if we make a show where we can start to bring people on to teach people how to heal themselves, then that's more sustainable. Because it just wasn't sustainable. Although now I don't even know. Now we're so tired from doing the show. So it's, we just replaced one thing after the next.
Yeah.
But the boundaries. We're trying to learn boundaries and balance, and we're not there yet.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like I can tell you all day. Like, what's a lesson? Have boundaries. I don't. But like I will say like. That's a separate lesson, but it's kind of like what you were talking about, sacred. What's sacred? And I'm really starting to realize like sacred is the people that show up for you, those good people, like they're invaluable, like I might not get enough sleep tonight, but like if I help those people that are like important to me, totally worth it. And I think that's something you need if you're doing a show that's helping people, or you're doing cat rescue or something. You need your group that you can trust, that you help out, they help you out. Because at the end of the day, like, I mean, we're tribal species. You need your tribe. And if you don't have it, going at it alone, I've tried it. I've tried to just be like, I'm going to go by myself. I'm just going to do this. I don't need anybody. And man, I
need people.
I think that's what finally happened in that Vegas when I collapsed. Like, I was like, I got this full-time job, another full-time job, jaw surgery. And I was at my 5th convention of the month, and I was about to leave that convention and fly to Canada. And I'm just like running to get this shot, and all of a sudden my chest seized up. I couldn't breathe, and I just went down. And I'm not one to like stop because I'm like, oh, my chest. Like I literally, while I was going, grabbed a Gatorade. I was like, hey guys, I need a Gatorade. And my buddy Sterling was like, I knew as soon as you stopped for a Gatorade that you were not okay. He's like, because you don't stop to grab a water if you're not okay. And I chugged the Gatorade, and then I was like, I don't think I could take another step, or I'm not going to make it. And I went down, and 2 days in the hospital, and I was like, okay, so I can either slow down a little bit, look out for me, or I'm not going to make it. I literally thought I was going to die that weekend. So I quit my full-time job that I'd had for 8 years. I moved out of the apartment I'd been in for 8 years. I had to say goodbye to a cat that I had been raising for 8 years. Like, I made so many changes because I was like, okay, I got to look out for me a little bit, because if I don't look out for me, like, it's not going to be there.
Yeah,
So,
we remember that when that happened. When
and
we
you guys
saw
were there
you,
for me, yeah.
We saw you right after when you got back home. We like came over,
and
it was really
they came over with flowers and a healing rock. Like, good, I'm telling you, the people that are there for you. That's why I'm there building a wall for you guys, because you guys are there for me when I needed you. So that doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, we love you. You're an angel, brother.
Thank you so much for coming on the show
course.
and also being our friend. We just love you so much.
Absolutely.
And all the work that you're doing
I
in
know
this
we're
world.
all so busy and we don't get to spend the most time together. But we relish every moment we get.
Anytime we can fit it in.
If you were talking about like misplaced energy in the comments section and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of people want to do good, but they just don't know where to direct it. So how can people get involved with what you're doing? Any of your initiatives? Like how can people?
100%. And I always tell people there's different tiers, and everybody can do something. If you have time to donate, go help the shelter. Come help us. I'll do volunteer days. If you don't have money, you have a platform. Even if you've got 100 followers, share the stuff that I'm doing, or with any content creator. It doesn't have to be me. If you see like, I believe in this cause, share that, because one of your followers could help, So there's always something you can do, whether it's time, money, or just sharing what good people are doing. Or even if you don't want to share because you're embarrassed, comment. If you just comment, hey, I like what you're doing, that builds engagement. That engagement right there makes my video do better. Because if I get 60 comments instead of 30 comments, my video is going to do way better. So if you went and responded to 20 people for me and just said, hey, I like what you said about Nathan. Hey, that's really cool. Even if you're just doing that, that will make my video take off, which means more people see it, more donations. So everybody can do something. There's no excuse.
I'm so glad you said that, because I didn't know that. Very new to the social media. This is the most social media heavy thing I've ever been a part of. And I did not realize like the benefit of commenting, liking, sharing. Like just if you like or want to support someone, just do that.
Yeah.
And it means the world. It puts them in the algorithm and
100%.
Help keep them doing what they're doing.
That's why I'll tell people, like, hey, this video is important. Please share. Because one of the first things they look at, depending on what the algorithm is, shares. If a lot of people are sharing your content, they're going to share your content. So if you send it to 10 friends or put it in your story, they're like, oh, people like this, so we'll share it. If you're commenting a lot, like all those little things can help. And I don't think people realize, they're like, oh, I'm just commenting to be nice. Like, no, that helps. Please comment. Like, if a brand comes to my page and says, wow, he gets 100 comments or 150 comments on every video, we want to hire him, then I can use that money to keep taking care of me and the cats in like these trips. Cause like I invested a lot of my own money into these trips. Like Spain, like I don't care saying I'm spending $5,000 of my own money just to get the camera team out there so that we can document this and show what's going on. Like when I went out to Beagle Freedom, I paid for my own Airbnbs, my flights, the tools. Like I spent like $5,000 a trip going out there just to do that. So it's like, if you guys comment and share, like that helps me get sponsors so that I can keep doing this work.
That's amazing. I think I've said this to you before. I know we're gonna end on this note. I believe you've helped so many animals. I say the same thing about Tanya. I feel this way about Tanya. I'll say it for both of you. But this is based off of this book I read about all these people like near-death experiences. But when you die, the first thing you two are going to be greeted by is all the animals that you've saved and helped.
Man.
You're going to walk.
How cool would that
I would be so down.
I wish that for
Ventura,
you.
full Ace
Ventura. 100%. Full Ace Ventura.
That would be the dream.
That's how you walk.
The happiest I am is when I'm just covered in animals.
Yes.
Like it's such a cool feeling.
Me too.
Oh man, that would be nice.
Nathan, can you tell people where to find you and how to help you with your causes?
Yeah, Nathan the Cat. It's Nathan the CatLady on everything. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, which is about to be a full new launch with long form content and rescue. So yeah, follow me on everything. And like I said, like, share, comment. I know it sounds cliche, but it really does help. It really helps.
Awesome.
On that note.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan.
We love you, brother.
If you're still watching, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow, just like we just said. And go follow Nathan and help with his amazing causes.
All right.
Until next time.
Love you all.
See you
Bye.
later. Bye.